The autumn rain had just stopped when I heard the cars pulling into my driveway, 3 of them. I was helping my daughter Emma with her math homework at the kitchen table when the doorbell rang. Through the window, I could see them, Mom in front, my brother David, sister Jennifer, and Uncle Tom flanking her. My stomach tightened, but I kept my expression neutral. "Stay here, sweetheart," I told Emma, kissing the top of her head. I slipped my phone into my jacket pocket, tapped the voice memo app, and walked to the front door. Mom didn't wait for pleasantries. "We need to talk about the company." "Hello to you too," I said calmly. She pushed past me into the foyer. The others followed. David closed the door behind them, with a decisive click that felt like a threat. "We've been patient long enough," Mom said, pulling folded papers from her purse. "These are the transfer documents. You're signing them tonight." I glanced at the papers. Legal letterhead, my company's name, transfer of ownership to family trust, primary beneficiary, Margaret Anderson, my mother. "I'm not signing anything," I said quietly. David stepped forward. "You don't have a choice anymore. There's always a choice." Jennifer laughed, sharp and cold. "Is there? Because from where we're standing, you've got a lot to lose." Uncle Tom moved toward the kitchen doorway, where Emma sat, still visible at the table. My pulse quickened, but I forced myself to remain still. "Your kids," Mom said, her voice dropping low. "Emma's in 3rd grade at Riverside Elementary. Michael's in kindergarten at the same school. They walk from the bus stop every day. 3 blocks, lots of things can happen in 3 blocks." The temperature in the room seemed to drop. "What are you saying?" I asked, my voice steady despite the rage building in my chest. "I'm saying sign the transfer, or your kids won't be safe at school." Mom's eyes were cold, harder than I'd ever seen them. "Accidents happen. Kids get lost. Taken. You understand what I'm telling you?" David nodded, arms crossed. "We're family. We're supposed to protect each other. But if you won't do what's right for the family, we can't guarantee that protection." Jennifer pulled out her phone, showing me photos. Emma getting off the school bus, Michael playing on the playground, my children photographed without my knowledge. "We know their schedules," Jennifer said. "We know everything." Uncle Tom finally spoke, his voice gravelly. "Your father built that company. It belongs to the family. You've kept it from us long enough." I looked at each of their faces. These were people I'd grown up with, people who'd attended birthday parties and holiday dinners, people who were now threatening my children. "Dad left the company to me," I said. "The will was clear." "The will was wrong," Mom snapped. "He wasn't in his right mind those last months. You manipulated him." A 32-year-old woman convincing her dying father to leave everything to her instead of his wife? "It's disgusting." "That's not what happened." "We don't care what happened," David said. "We care about what happens next. You sign, your kids stay safe. You don't sign." He shrugged. "Well, we can't control what happens in this world." My phone was still recording in my pocket, every word, every threat. "I need time to think," I said. "You've had 2 years to think," Mom said. "Ever since your father died, you've hidden behind lawyers and paperwork. Tonight, it ends. Sign now, or tomorrow morning when Emma walks to that bus stop, things might go very differently." Emma appeared in the kitchen doorway. "Mom, who are these people?" "Go back to the table, baby," I said softly. "That's Emma." Mom's smile was predatory. "She's gotten so big, such a pretty girl. Would be a shame if something happened to that pretty face." The threat was explicit now, unmistakable. "Get out of my house," I said, my voice low and dangerous. "Not until you sign," Jennifer said. I said get out. David moved toward me. "You're not in a position to make demands." "Actually," I said, pulling out my phone, "I am." I held it up, the recording app visible on the screen. Timestamp, 18 minutes and counting. Mom's face went white. "You recorded us. Every word, every threat, every photo you took of my children without permission." David lunged for my phone, but I stepped back quickly. "It's already backed up to cloud storage, and it's already been forwarded." "Forwarded where?" Jennifer's voice cracked. I didn't answer. My email notification pinged, then another, then several more in rapid succession. I opened my email, turning the screen so they couldn't see. 9 emails, all from board members. "Received your audio file. Emergency session called for 9 a.m. tomorrow. This is unconscionable. Legal is being notified immediately. The board stands behind you. These threats will be addressed." I looked up at my family. "You wanted to know about the company, the one you think I'm keeping from you. Let me tell you what Dad actually left me." Mom's hands were shaking. "What are you talking about? Anderson Medical Devices isn't just some small family business anymore. Dad grew it before he died. We have contracts with 17 hospital networks. Last year's revenue was $43 million. And I'm not just the owner. I paused, watching their faces. I'm the CEO. And we went public 8 months ago. Which means we have a board of directors, 9 of them to be precise. Very serious people who take threats against executives very, very seriously. Jennifer sat down heavily on my stairs. You're lying. Am I? Call our attorney. His number's on the website. Anderson Medical Devices, NASDAQ ticker, AMDD. We closed today at $47.32 per share. David's face had gone red. You never told us. You never asked. You just assumed I was the same broke daughter who waited tables during college. You thought I was weak, easy to push around. Uncle Tom was backing toward the door. We were just talking. Family discussion. You threatened my children. On recording. You showed me surveillance photos of my kids. You told me they wouldn't be safe at school. My voice was ice now. That's not a family discussion. That's criminal extortion. It's stalking. It's terroristic threatening. Mom tried to recover. No court would. The board's legal team will have the recording transcribed by morning. They're already discussing whether to file a police report or pursue a civil restraining order first. Probably both. My phone pinged again. Another email from Victoria Chen, the board chair. Security has been notified. Protection detail being arranged for your children. Police report will be filed first thing tomorrow. The company's reputation cannot be associated with these threats. I read it aloud, slowly. Jennifer was crying now. We're family. You can't do this to family. You stopped being family the moment you threatened Emma and Michael. We didn't mean it, David said desperately. We were just trying to negotiate. You told me my daughter's face could be ruined. You photographed my children without permission. You knew their school routes. That's not negotiation. That's premeditated intimidation. Mom's lawyer voice returned, trying to find solid ground. No jury would convict us for trying to claim what's rightfully. There were 9 people on that board call tonight. All of them heard your threats. All of them will testify if needed. And beyond that, the company has a market cap of $340 million. We have resources you can't imagine. Legal resources. Security resources. Uncle Tom had his hand on the doorknob. This is a misunderstanding. Leave. Now. All of you. They moved toward the door. Their confident arrival transformed into a scrambling retreat. Mom turned back one last time. You're really going to destroy your own family over this? You destroyed this family the moment you threatened my babies. I'm just making sure you can't hurt them. The door closed. I locked it, engaged the deadbolt, set the security alarm. Emma was standing in the kitchen doorway, her eyes wide. Mom, are we okay? I pulled her into a hug. We're perfect, baby. We're safe. My phone continued pinging. Messages from board members, from the company's head of security, from our legal counsel. By 10 p.m., I had a detailed email from Victoria outlining the board's response. Immediate security detail for you and the children, starting tomorrow morning. Police report filed with attached audio evidence. Corporate attorneys prepared to file restraining orders against all 4 individuals. PR team on standby. If this becomes public, the board stands united behind you. I read Michael and Emma their bedtime stories, tucked them in, kissed their foreheads. They had no idea how close things had come tonight, how their grandmother had threatened them, how their family had tried to use them as leverage, but they would never have to know, because I'd protected them. The next morning, 2 former police officers in plain clothes arrived at 6 a.m., professional security. They would escort the kids to school, monitor the pickup area, and ensure no one from my family came near them. At 9 a.m., I joined the board meeting via video call. 9 faces looked back at me from their various locations, serious, concerned, angry on my behalf. We've heard the recording, Victoria said. We've consulted with legal. We're filing criminal complaints this afternoon. Stalking, terroristic threatening, attempted extortion. The DA's office has already indicated they'll pursue charges. Board member James Harrison, a former federal prosecutor, spoke next. This isn't just about protecting you. This is about protecting the company. We can't have executives being threatened and extorted. It sets a dangerous precedent. What do you need from us? Another board member asked. Just what you're already doing, I said. Protecting my kids, having my back. That's enough. The meeting continued. Business proceeded. The company was strong. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. I almost deleted it, then recognized the area code. My mother's lawyer. My clients wished to formally apologize and request a meeting to discuss. I blocked the number. There would be no meeting, no discussion, no reconciliation. They'd made their choice when they threatened my children. Now they would live with the consequences. The carpool lane at Riverside Elementary moved like molasses every Tuesday. I'd been picking up my daughter Lily here for 3 years, ever since the divorce finalized and we settled into our week-on week-off custody arrangement. Today, I was fourth in line when I saw my ex-wife's white SUV pull up beside the waiting area. She shouldn't have been here. It was my week. But there she was, standing outside her vehicle, talking to Mrs. Patterson from the PTA. I pulled forward when the line moved. Lily emerged from the building with her backpack, scanning for my car. She saw me, and waved. Then she saw her mother, my ex-wife, let's call her Jessica, walk directly into Lily's path. I rolled down my window, ready to call out, but Jessica's voice carried across the entire pickup zone. Lily honey, did your father give you money for the aquarium field trip? Several parents turned. The mom in the Honda ahead of me glanced in her rearview mirror. Lily shook her head, confused. Dad said he'd write a check tonight. Of course he did. Jessica's voice pitched louder. He can't even afford your field trip. That's why I'm here. I already paid it. The words hung in the humid afternoon air. I watched Lily's face crumble. She was 11 years old, standing in front of her school with her mother broadcasting her father's supposed poverty to everyone within earshot. Mrs. Patterson looked uncomfortable. The parents nearby had stopped pretending not to listen. I put the car in park and opened my door. Jessica, this isn't the time. When is the time, David? When our daughter misses another activity because you're too proud to admit you're struggling. Lily was crying now, full tears, the kind that would haunt her at school tomorrow when her classmates remembered this moment. I walked over and put my hand on Lily's shoulder. Let's go, sweetheart. I'm not done talking, Jessica said. Yes, you are. I kept my voice level. Lily, get in the car. As my daughter walked toward my sedan, I met Jessica's eyes. She looked triumphant, satisfied, like she'd won something. I'm sorry, I said quietly to Mrs. Patterson, who still stood there awkwardly. I apologize for the disruption. I got in the car. Lily was sobbing in the passenger seat. Behind us, parents were pulling out their phones. By tonight, this would be all over the school parent Facebook group. I didn't mention the incident to Lily during the drive home. She stared out the window, headphones in, ignoring me. When we got to my apartment, she went straight to her room and closed the door. I sat at my kitchen table and pulled out my phone. I'd started documenting Jessica's behavior 6 months ago, when my lawyer first suggested it. I opened the Notes app and typed October 24th, 3:15 p.m., school pickup. Jessica publicly claimed I couldn't afford Lily's $35 field trip in front of multiple parents and students. Lily was humiliated and cried. Parents witnessed everything. It was the 14th incident I'd documented. The first had been in April, during the spring carnival. Jessica had loudly questioned whether I'd really paid my share of the booth sponsorship. The volunteer coordinator had been standing right there. Then came the parent-teacher conference in May, where Jessica suggested to Mrs. Kim that I was financially unreliable, and might not be able to afford summer camp. In June at Lily's soccer game, Jessica told another parent, loudly enough for me to hear, that I'd missed a child support payment. I hadn't. I had the bank records proving it. Each incident followed the same pattern: public setting, witnesses, financial accusations, my apparent inability to defend myself without making things worse. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Mitchell, this is Sandra Williams from the district office. I'm the superintendent. Do you have a few minutes to talk? My stomach dropped. Of course, I understand there was an incident at pickup today. I wanted to reach out personally before this goes any further. I apologize if we caused a disruption. My ex-wife and I are working through some communication issues. Mr. Mitchell, you misunderstand. I'm not calling to reprimand you. I'm calling about Miss Jessica Hartley's conduct. I sat up straighter. I'm sorry. We've been documenting concerns about her behavior on school property for several months. Today's incident was witnessed by staff members and multiple parents. I'd like to set up a meeting to discuss this formally. A meeting about what exactly? About whether Miss Hartley's conduct violates our parent code of conduct policy. We take harassment very seriously, especially when it creates a hostile environment for students, including your daughter. The meeting happened Friday morning at the district administration building. I'd asked my lawyer to come, but he was in court. I showed up alone with my printed documentation. Superintendent Williams was in her late 50s, with steel gray hair and reading glasses on a chain. She sat across from me with Principal Hayes from Riverside Elementary, and a woman who introduced herself as the district's legal counsel. Mr. Mitchell, thank you for coming in. I want to start by showing you what we've documented. Williams slid a folder across the table. I opened it. Inside were incident reports, security camera stills, and written statements from parents and staff. April 19th, Williams read from her own copy. Spring Carnival. Miss Hartley publicly questioned your financial contribution in front of volunteer coordinator Patricia Webb. Miss Webb filed a report. I didn't know that. May 12th. Parent-teacher conference. Miss Hartley made claims about your financial reliability to Mrs. Kim. Mrs. Kim documented it in her notes and reported it to the principal. Principal Hayes nodded. I spoke with Miss Hartley informally after that incident. I explained that parent conferences should focus on the student's progress, not financial disputes between parents. She didn't stop. I said, no. June 3rd. Soccer game. 2 parents filed complaints about overhearing Miss Hartley discuss your supposed missed child support payment. One of them recorded part of the conversation. Williams pulled out a transcript. I recognized the words. I'd heard them myself that day. June 17th. School Volunteer Day. July 8th. Summer Camp Pickup. September 15th. Fall Open House. October 10th. Fundraiser Meeting. Williams looked up. And Tuesday, October 24th at afternoon dismissal. 14 incidents, I said quietly. 14 documented complaints. There may be others that weren't formally reported. Mr. Mitchell, I need to ask you directly, have you missed child support payments? No ma'am, I can provide bank records. Have you failed to pay for Lily's activities or school expenses? No, I pay everything on time, usually in advance. The legal counsel spoke for the first time. Mr. Mitchell, what Miss Hartley is doing has a name. It's called parental alienation through reputation destruction. She's attempting to damage your standing in the community, specifically within the school community, to isolate you, and by extension your daughter. Why tell me this? Because we're going to stop it. Williams said, we have a parent code of conduct. Section 4.7 prohibits harassment of other parents on school property. Miss Hartley has violated this policy repeatedly. We've given informal warnings. She's ignored them. What happens now? We're issuing a formal violation notice. Miss Hartley will be prohibited from school property for the remainder of the academic year, except for scheduled parent-teacher conferences in a supervised setting. She cannot attend pickup, drop-off, volunteer events, or school activities. I stared at her. You can do that. We can, and we will. Additionally, we're providing all documentation to the family court. Your custody arrangement includes a provision about maintaining a cooperative co-parenting relationship. This evidence suggests Miss Hartley is violating that provision. Principal Hayes leaned forward. Mr. Mitchell, Lily's counselor has been seeing her weekly. Your daughter's anxiety has increased significantly over the past 6 months. She's stopped participating in class discussions. She's withdrawn from friends. Yesterday, after the pickup incident, she spent an hour in the counselor's office. I didn't know it was that bad. Children hide their pain from the parent they're trying to protect, the counselor said gently. Lily knows these incidents hurt you. She's been trying to shield you from knowing how much they hurt her. They scheduled the formal meeting with Jessica for the following Tuesday. I wasn't required to attend, but Williams thought it would be beneficial if I did. Jessica arrived 15 minutes late, looking annoyed. She sat down across from the same conference table, with her sister beside her for moral support. I don't understand why I'm here, Jessica started. If this is about David's complaint, Miss Hartley, Williams interrupted. This is about 14 documented violations of our parent conduct policy. I'd like you to listen before you speak. Williams went through each incident methodically. Jessica's face transitioned from annoyed to defensive to pale. These are misunderstandings, Jessica said when Williams finished. I was concerned about Lily's welfare. You publicly humiliated your daughter to score points against your ex-husband, the legal counsel said flatly. Multiple witnesses have confirmed this pattern. Staff members have documented your daughter's emotional distress, and you've ignored 2 informal warnings from school administration. I have a right to be concerned about my daughter's father's finances. You have no such right. The legal counsel slid a document across the table. Mr. Mitchell's financial records, every payment made on time, every activity paid in advance, every expense handled appropriately. Your claims are demonstrably false. Jessica looked at me for the first time. I kept my expression neutral. Here's what's going to happen, William said. You are banned from school property for the remainder of this academic year. You may attend one scheduled parent-teacher conference per semester in my office with supervision. You cannot attend pickup, drop-off, field trips, performances, or volunteer events. Violations will result in trespassing charges. You can't do this. We can, and we are. Additionally, all documentation is being forwarded to family court. The court will decide if your behavior constitutes parental alienation, and whether custody modification is warranted. Jessica's sister put a hand on her arm, but Jessica shook it off. This is ridiculous. I'm her mother, and you're using that relationship to harm her emotional well-being, Principal Hayes said. Lily's counselor is prepared to testify about the anxiety and social withdrawal your public confrontations have caused. 6 parents have also agreed to provide statements, the legal counsel added. They've expressed concern about the hostile environment you've created at school events. The Parent Association voted unanimously to support the administration's decision. Jessica looked stunned. Parents voted. We held an emergency meeting. They reviewed the documentation. Not a single parent spoke in your defense. The ban went into effect immediately. Lily's aunt started handling school pickup on Jessica's weeks. I noticed the difference in my daughter almost instantly. At pickup the following Tuesday, Lily came out smiling. She waved to friends. Mrs. Patterson stopped me to apologize for not speaking up sooner. A lot of us felt uncomfortable, she said, but we didn't know what to do. We're glad the school stepped in. 2 weeks later I got an email from Jessica's lawyer. The subject line read, Custody Modification Discussion. The email proposed mediation to revise our custody arrangement. Jessica's attorney suggested that in light of recent school district findings, it might be beneficial to establish clearer boundaries around co-parenting communication. I forwarded it to my lawyer with a single question. Is she offering me more custody? His response came back within an hour. Yes. The school documentation spooked her. Her attorney knows a custody evaluator would reference it. She wants to settle before it gets worse. 3 weeks after the ban, I attended Lily's fall concert. I sat in the auditorium surrounded by other parents, and for the first time in months, no one was whispering about my finances or watching me with pitying expressions. Lily sang in the 3rd row, her voice clear and steady. After the performance, she ran over and hugged me. Did you like it? You were amazing, Mrs. Kim said. I should try out for the spring musical. Can I? Of course. We walked to the car together. Lily was chattering about auditions and rehearsal schedules. At a red light she suddenly went quiet. Dad, yeah, I'm sorry I believed Mom sometimes. About the money stuff. You don't need to apologize. You're 11. You trusted your mom. That's normal. But you never defended yourself. You just let her say those things. Because I was waiting for the right time. Fighting back in a parking lot wouldn't have fixed anything. It would have just made things worse for you. The school fixed it instead. They documented it. Big difference. I couldn't prove what was happening by yelling about it. The school could prove it by writing it down. She thought about this for a moment. That's actually pretty smart. Sometimes the best response is patience. Did you know they were keeping track? Not at first, but I was keeping track too, just in case. Just in case what? Just in case someone asked for proof, and they did. We pulled into my apartment complex. Lily grabbed her backpack but didn't get out immediately. I'm glad it's over, she said quietly. Me too. Can we get pizza tonight? Absolutely. She opened the door then paused. Dad, Mom's lawyer called her yesterday. I heard her crying. Is she in trouble? She's dealing with consequences of her choices. That's different from being in trouble. Will I still see her? Of course. She's still your mom. She just can't come to school anymore. Good, Lily said firmly. Then she grabbed her bag and headed inside. I sat in the car for another minute, watching the sunset behind the apartment buildings. My phone buzzed. Email from the superintendent's office. Subject Lily Mitchell Progress Update. I opened it. Mr. Mitchell Progress Update. I opened it. Lily's teachers report significant improvement in classroom participation and peer engagement since late October. Her counselor notes marked decrease in anxiety symptoms. Thank you for your patience during this process. The documentation you provided was essential to our intervention. Superintendent Williams, I replied. Thank you for taking action. Lily is thriving. Then I went inside to order pizza with my daughter, who was singing show tunes in her bedroom, already preparing for her audition. For the first time in 6 months, everything felt normal.